You guys, today's topic is how to take proper progress pictures and measurements all by yourself. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you exactly how to take your measurements and your progress pictures without relying on anyone, okay? The problem with relying on someone, even if it's your spouse or your roommate or someone who lives with you, who's there all the time, is there may be a week, there likely will be a week that that person is not there. And I have seen it happen way too many times where someone is relying on their spouse to take their measurements, and then one week they're not there and they have to take them themselves, and they can be way off, and that basically disregards that whole week of measurements because they haven't been consistent. So I'm gonna tell you how to do it all by yourself, just like a big girl. You can do it, and then you don't have to rely on anyone, and they can be consistent going forward. So first, let's talk about photos. Okay, few things that you wanna make sure you keep in mind when you're doing your progress photos. First, they need to be taken first thing in the morning before you eat or drink. This is the most consistent time of day. That's also when you want to do your measurements and your weight as well, okay? Because if you wait till the middle of the day, or heaven forbid at night, you're gonna look bloated from the food you've been eating all day. This is normal. You've had salt, you've had water, you've had food, you've worked out. You're going to have some bloating, which is again totally normal, but it's not gonna be consistent day in and day out because it's gonna be dependent on what you ate, okay? So first thing in the morning is the most consistent time. Ideally, I would do it on a day when you can sleep in a little bit, when there is some sunlight out, but does not have to be that way. Okay, you can just turn on some lights in your house too. That's fine as well. So that brings me to the next point. You want to be in a well-lit area, okay? You don't want any like really dark progress pictures where you can't see the progress. You need to have a lot of light. Ideally, you want that light coming in from the front, okay? If it's coming from the back, your body is going to be blacked out. You've all seen like a photo where there's a window behind you and you look kind of dark, right? You don't want that for your progress pictures because you want to be able to see every detail. Because a lot of times this progress is small when you're looking at them very regularly, and you want to be able to really dive in and see all those small changes, okay? So we've got our light. Clothing, you want to wear as minimal clothing as you are comfortable with, okay? So ideally no shirt, for girls or guys, because we want to be able to see that progress in your tummy. And I know it's embarrassing and I know it's hard in the beginning to take that first set of progress pictures of your stomach. I know it's really, really hard and you're putting yourself out there, but just know that's your starting point and you're going to see amazing changes from there on out. So try to just be confident in your journey and yourself and just do it. Okay. So my favorite thing is to see a sports bra and short shorts, or a bikini. I don't love underwear just because if your transformation is amazing and you get really excited and you want to post it on social media or share it with others, sometimes it's a little bit uncomfortable to see progress pictures in an actual like bra and like small underwear. So I prefer a bathing suit, but again, that's totally personal preference. If you really just can't bring yourself to do a shirtless progress picture, have a form-fitted shirt so that at least you can see like the shape going down, but know that it is gonna be harder to see that progress. Okay, when you are thinking about your background, you want it to be as plain of a background as possible, okay? If you have a counter behind you that's super messy, or if you're in a closet, sometimes it can be really cluttered and it can be hard, it can be distracting from the progress. So you want to have just a clean, simple background behind you if possible. Again, this is not mandatory, just kind of will help you see those results a little bit better. Also, you want to be standing back in the photo enough that you can see your whole body, okay? At least head to ankles or so should fill the frame. So you don't want to be back too far if there's a whole bunch of space around you, because then it's going to be hard to see. You have to like zoom in a little bit and you might kind of blur out some details. But you also don't want to be so close that you can't, for example, see your legs. I've had clients before who have only taken like from their hips up, and then they've ended up wanting to see the progress in their glutes, for example, and they're disappointed because they never took those photos in the beginning, okay? So you want to see your whole body filling the frame. when you stand in your pictures, you don't want to be overly flexed or sucking in or anything, but you also don't want to just be relaxed and let it all hang out. You want to stand up nice and tall, keep everything tight without sucking in, okay? Don't do pictures selfie style, okay, where you're holding the camera. That could be fine for your front and your side, but it looks really bad on your back, and it's really, really hard to see that progress because you might be twisting a little bit differently one time, holding the camera at a different angle. It just makes it really hard to get that consistency. So here is my trick on how to do the best progress pictures all by yourself like a big girl, okay? What you're gonna do is you are going to set up your phone either on a tripod, or you can kind of set it up against something on a chair, okay? You are gonna put it in selfie mode. You are going to set it on video, and you're gonna start the video. Back up from the phone so you're filling up the whole frame, okay? Stand facing the camera for a few seconds, then turn to the side, so you're facing the side, then turn to the back, and then the other side, holding each spot for a few seconds, okay? Then you're gonna stop your video, go get your camera, press play on your video, and you're gonna screenshot each of those poses, and voila, you have your progress photos. All right, now that we've talked about photos and you guys are a pro, let's talk a little bit about your measurements. All right, you guys, so let's move on to talking about how to take your measurements. I've had a lot of people that will try and have someone else take their measurements, and in my experience, that doesn't usually go well because there's certain times when that person can't be there when you need your measurements taken, and then you go to take them and you don't exactly know where to take them. It's better to not have to rely on someone and just take them yourself. It's super, super easy, okay? So here's where I prefer people take their measurements and how to do it. Okay, the first one is just across the nipple line, okay? So that is a consistent place. You can do it every single time. Again, when you do this on yourself, you won't be wearing a sports bra. They'll be smushing you in, okay? So you're just gonna come right across here and measure directly across that nipple line. You can turn to the side to make sure the measuring tape is even and it's not like sagging down. Just make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, the next spot is your natural waist. So for most people, it's where this goes in, right here, okay, where it's the smallest. So you wanna be looking in a mirror when you take these measurements, and you'll be able to see where your natural waist is, okay? I don't have a mirror right now, only the camera here. So I'm guessing this is right about here. Your natural waist, you'll be able to see wherever it's the smallest, and then you'll just take it right around like that, okay? And you look down to see what it's at. Next one is your belly button level, okay? That's kind of more of the tummy. So again, wherever your belly button is, you can't really mess this one up. You're gonna go even so it's nice and straight and not sagging down or up too high, okay? So right around the belly button and then right across there, okay? Next one is your glutes, okay? So this one you wanna go where it's the fullest. So you like to look in a mirror, okay? See wherever your glutes come out the farthest, that's where you're gonna measure around to the biggest. So for me, I think it's right about there. Again, I don't have a mirror, just this camera. Then you're gonna hold it right around here and you're just gonna do it straight around, like that, okay? Next one we do is thigh. So I just do all measurements on the right side, just because there's not really any reason to do both sides. Unless you want to, you can. But again, on the thigh, we're looking at where it's the biggest, okay? This meaty part right here. So you're just gonna go right around here, around that biggest area, and around, okay? Yes, it's okay, you'll be bending over, you're not standing straight up, but that's okay because every single time you'll be bending over and doing it in the same spot, okay? For your calf, same thing. You want the biggest circumference of your calf right here, like that. And then for your arm, this is where it's a little bit trickier. So I like to go halfway from your shoulder joint, like this collarbone area, and your elbow. So what I'll do is I'll measure here, like that. See how long that is. It's hard to do without a mirror. Right there. See how long that is. And then I'm gonna go halfway right there, okay? So that's another one you can't really mess up. Just measure it first, see what the halfway point is, and bring it around, okay? The other way to do that that's a little more simple is throw up a flex. If you're lean enough to see your bicep muscles, you throw up a flex, go across the top peak right here. That's where you're gonna do it, and then you can relax your arm and bring it around, okay? So either way you decide to do it, that is totally fine. The key is that you're being consistent, okay? So the nice thing about doing your own measurements is you'll remember, like, okay, this, when I'm doing my belly button, I'm looking down and it's right here. Or I remember on my glutes, it's gonna be right around here. Sometimes you have like moles or freckles or little spots that will help mark where you take your own measurements that you will remember, okay? So I'm a huge advocate of doing these on your own and not relying on someone else, because I've had too many clients that rely on their spouse or their roommate or something to help with their measurements, and then one time they're not there and they do them themselves, and there's huge differences in their measurements. So you can do this yourself. I know you can. All right, you guys, so I hope you loved that video, and I hope you got some good tips and tricks that you can use going forward to make sure those photos and measurements are consistent and as accurate as possible. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the little bell so you always know when I've posted a video. Also, I'd love to hear a comment below with what your current fitness goal is and how you plan on tracking that progress towards that goal. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time.